friends. Welcome. You're listening to the Online Income for Therapists podcast, and I'm your host, Amber Lyda. This podcast is all about building more freedom, flexibility, and flow into your lives by taking your passions and turning them into profitable online businesses. Whether that's online therapy, online courses, consulting, coaching, ebooks, membership sites, we have got you covered. Today we have a really special thing going on. I've got graduates of my step-by-step course, the All the Things Guide to Starting Up Your Online Therapy Practice, who are coming in to talk to you about some of the tips and tricks that they learned in starting their own online practice. And today we're featuring Jaime Howard. And she talks about how her process has been a little different than most folks who come into creating an online therapy practice, in that she's actually looking to have a brick and mortar practice. And she just couldn't bring herself to put out all the money that it takes to get one of those things started before she even had any clients. So she started by building her online therapy practice as a vehicle to earn the money she needed to work her way into an in-person practice. And along the way, she found out that she'd like to have a practice with both. Listen in. I'm so glad you agreed to do this. I'm so excited to talk with you. And we've done a little catching up, y'all. We're not gonna lie. We were talking a little bit before we started recording. So I have some backstory y'all don't have, but we will share with you.
Absolutely.
So we're going to start like this. Okay. I want you to tell everybody where you started before the course. So where were you? Like, what were you doing for work? And then where you want to be. And then we'll catch them up on where you are right now.
Okay. So I was and still am working full-time, doing behavioral health care management for a large government insurance company. And so I enjoy that because that's part of the community that I'm a part of, but I was really missing direct care. And working with these people every day made me realize like how important it is to provide, good quality direct care for people. So that kind of stirred like my passion back up. It had only been like maybe a year and a half or so since I really did direct care, but I really, really missed it. So I started, it was about a year ago, actually. I started really like thinking about it and my wheels started turning and I was like, but I don't want to do all that work. I just was like dreading the work part of it. And then like, this is kind of ironic, but the thought of having like to pay for an office space when I had no clients, like made me want to hyperventilate. Mm-hmm. I thought, how in the world am I going to do this? Plus I work full time. And so how can I make this happen? And then that's when I start looking in more to online therapy stuff. Mm-hmm. And I think your course, how do we do it? We did some before Christmas, didn't we?
Yeah, we did.
We started in November. Wait, I don't even know.
You got it. We started in November. We did 4 weeks. We took off for December and we started again in January.
Okay. So it was probably like October-ish time frame last year that I was like, I really want to do this. And then I started, and then I don't even remember how I came across your course, but I was like, you know what? If you're going to do something, Jaime, like get your shit together and get some structure around it so you know what you're doing, inform yourself, and like just do it. And I knew the course would be helpful because it would allow me to have some structure and guidance, but also accountability of like, you spent money on this, like this is a course for you and you got to take this seriously kind of thing. And so I thought that for me was really, really helpful. Plus like just all the information, because of course, I think your course is fabulous. And I really think like, honestly, having gone through it, I'm like, this course should be like 4 times the price, like for real, because the amount of information that you get, but you don't know that, even though people maybe say that, you don't really understand what that means until you go through it. And you're like, holy shit, this is a lot of stuff. Like Amber has put a ton of blood, sweat, and tears into this. And so that was really helpful for me. And then, so in December last year, I came up finally with my name, did all that stuff with the state and everything, and got incorporated and did all that. So I feel like I really launched in like officially like January 1st. Mm-hmm. And having been in private practice before, I knew I just want to do everything right the first time. So then I like signed up with iTherapy because I'm down with the package thing. and hired someone else to do my website because even though I know I can do it, I don't have the time with working full time. So I was like, that's not happening. So those were my two big expenses in the beginning. It was the website and the eye therapy, and that was it. You know, and even my ghetto computer, I had a ghetto computer that like you had to plug it in, like the battery was like totally dead.
Yes.
You know, and then like it takes like 20 minutes, like when you turn it on. Girl, I worked with a ghetto computer. I just got a new computer like a month or so ago, and a printer. So anyway, so I was like, I don't really need a bunch of stuff. I just need me. I just need, you know, the basics, and my basics were fine, even if they were a little broke down and busted. And so was like, we'll see how this goes, you know. And I didn't have a client until the end of February is when I got my first client. I went back and looked. I was looking this morning. So yeah, February 26th, my first client was full fee cash. So, I mean, you know, I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist, and I have a license in addiction as well. And I have my master's and PhD. And with couples work, it's really easy to justify your fee because you're like, well, I know my fee is expensive, but it's a lot cheaper than a divorce.
Right.
So they usually are like, they don't say anything after you say that.
Right.
So my couple in family fee is $200 a session. And so I was fortunate enough to get my first people and I think they found me on Psychology Today. That's the only place that I've actually advertised or paid to join or to be listed. I don't think I'm listed on anything else, the iTherapy page, but that's it. Yeah, so my goal is reverse of what a lot of people are trying to do, which is I wanted an in-person practice. We live in San Antonio. My husband's retired military. We moved out to the country about a year and a half ago. So we're about 30 minutes out of downtown. We're not that far. We're the beginning of hill country. And there's not a lot out here for mental health, but it's growing. Like schools are growing. There's no place else to go. So it's really, really growing. And I saw this need and I thought I really would love to have an office someday. And so that was my vision, was to start online, to have low overhead, and then to maybe someday find an office or need an office, like get to that point. And so, yeah, so that's kind of what I kind of am doing the reverse, where a lot of people like on the group are like, I'm trying to get out of my in-person practice and all that kind of stuff. I'm like, maybe I'm a weirdo because I'm trying to get into an in-person practice. But I really want to offer both because I think both are really valuable. I mean, it's great to meet with somebody at 8 o'clock at night after they've been at work all day and they're at home in their comfy clothes and they don't have to deal with traffic and they can just be in their own safety net environment. You know, I really like that. And it's nice that I can do that too, you know, be at home and feed my kids and then run in and, you know, have a session or whatever. So I definitely think there's place for both options in mental health today. I totally feel like it.
I love that your trajectory is like, I want to be in person or at least a combo, but I'm starting online because it makes more sense financially. It makes more sense to build up my caseload online, make sure that I have income, and then sign up for rent. Super, super smart. So tell us where you are right now.
So I'm still working full time. That's helped me feel better about some things, but I have to make a choice very soon. So yeah.
What's your caseload right now outside of your full-time job? What's your online therapy caseload?
I have 13 clients, 12 or 13 active clients right now. I typically will see like on Tuesday, I work Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday, which is the other thing that also kind of sucks. So I work all day, you know, 8 to 5, typically at my other job. And then I have a 6, 7, and 8 slot, or just 6 and 7. Like I'm trying to just do 2, but it's really hard because I have kids. I have a 10-year-old and a 4-year-old. So I feel like this is why I'm saying I'm slightly like a crazy person right now.
Yeah. How are you breathing?
I don't know. I am like, I don't know, because I feel like right now I'm sort of in that phase of I'm working harder, not smarter just yet, but I also feel like I had to do it this way so I could make the leap, you know, financially, and not have to worry about this other stuff. And, you know, I just didn't want that pressure on me, I guess, for some reason. And so I have I have 3 hours on Saturday, 3 hours on Sunday. I don't necessarily always see people every every weekend. I didn't see anybody on Sunday. You know, I have one person scheduled tonight. I could probably schedule some more, but I kind of don't want to because I am tired. And then I'm like, I can see them on the weekend, but I need to do something on the weekend, which I'll explain in a minute. But so that's why I don't really know how I sleep. So I've got about 6, 7, 8, I have like 10 hours a week basically set aside for private practice clients. And I have people I see every other week. So that's kind of helpful. So out of my people, 4 of them are full fee cash clients. I am only taking one insurance company, and I am at this point with them. Okay. So can I say who it is? Is it okay for me to say who it is?
Yes, but you can't say their rates probably because of contract.
Yeah.
So you can say their rates or who they are.
Okay. Well, I don't know their rates. So that I'll explain this because it's different. So it's with TRICARE. And so TRICARE has like 2 things. If you're approved out of network, in order to still bill for them, you still have to be what they call TRICARE certified. You can see their people, there's 2 different insurance plans. And so I can see the people that have the one with the out of network benefits. I can see the people without it, but they have to have a referral. So I actually don't know their rates anyway, because I haven't billed anything.
Okay.
So, and because it's been a kind of a nightmare. And so I haven't fully, I'm going to hopefully submit some claims like the end of this week. But yeah, so I'm kind of glad because I don't really know what the rates are. So ignorance is bliss for me. And I don't have when you're an out of network provider, you don't have a contract with them. So
exactly.
I will still be billing at my rates basically at this point.
So let me make sure I'm clear, because if I'm confused, other people are confused. So the way you're working with TRICARE is out of network right now. And so what happens is the client pays you your fee, and then the client may or may not get reimbursed by the insurance company. Is that correct?
No. So TRICARE is weird and is completely different than any other insurance company because it is what is considered an entitlement. So because it is a benefit of your employment, basically.
Right.
And so everything that TRICARE typically does is based on medical necessity. So in order to be, it's not just like anybody's an out-of-network provider. You have to be registered with TRICARE in order to be an out-of-network provider. So like if you don't show up in your system at all, they're not going to pay you.
Okay.
If you get certified, then you actually can bill, like you bill them, then they pay you back. TRICARE has pretty much basically 2 plans. One is called Select, one is called Prime. Prime is like an HMO, Select is like a PPO. The people that have Select can go see out-of-network providers without needing prior permission. It's part of their benefit. So anybody who has that plan, I can easily see. The other one, Prime, I can actually see them too, but they'll need to get a referral from their, what we call in the military community, primary care manager, or PCP is what most people will call, in order to see me with information as to why they need to see me. Why do you need to see an out-of-network person versus somebody who's in network? Which in some cases it's availability, it's specialization, that kind of thing. Again, the medical necessity piece, like if that's there. So it's really confusing. I do have one lady though who I started seeing before I was ever, approved out-of-network, and she has it. And I made the mistake of saying I would submit on her behalf. So this is going to be a learning experience. So I'm going to submit for her and see what I can recover for her. But definitely if I'm in that situation again, and I had it come up last week, I was like, nope, not doing it, because it's a lot of work and really difficult.
We live and we learn. That's how we pick up these lessons.
Exactly. So yeah, so most of my people, I wrote them down too. I made
give us some numbers. If you have some numbers, share those. I
have numbers. Hold on. Let me see. Where's the numbers? Okay. So what kind of numbers do you want? Okay.
I want all the numbers.
Okay. So I'll start up. Okay, iTherapy, $180 a month, except I got a discount because I did your class. So if you do Amber's class, you get a discount for 3 months. So that, that really takes a lot of pressure off. I mean, that is, first of all, $180 a month for iTherapy to me is dirt cheap. Like for all of the stuff you cannot freaking believe. And I love it. I had my website professionally done. I think I paid about, I think it was like around between $1,400 and $1,800, somewhere around there. Yep. And now I have them sort of manage it monthly for like $100 a month. And then my course, your course. And that was my startup. That was all I paid.
What's that total?
So that totals about $2,500, maybe a little bit over $2,500.
Okay. So that's your startup cost.
That's what I invested. Mm-hmm. And then, because I was saying earlier how I was like, I'd like to have in-person practice, and I'm doing it a little bit backwards than most people because I see the need and that sort of thing. I also work a lot with veterans and treat combat trauma. And so I believe that veterans need other veterans to get better. And so and I do think in-person is a big piece of their healing and their camaraderie and just what they're used to. But I do see several veterans telehealth. It's not an issue, but that's one of the reasons why I also wanted in person. So I was telling Amber earlier, I was like asking a friend because people want it in person. So I had a friend and I was like, hey, can I rent your space from you on the weekends? And she's like, yeah, well, how many clients do you have? I'm like, I don't know, 12, 13. She's like, what? She's like, Jamie, I think you need your own office. And I'm like, you think I do? She goes, well, I started with 0 clients and my goal first month was cover that damn rent. And I did, and I was like, oh, okay. And she said, plus she's not in the part of town I want to be in. So she said, people get really comfortable and they don't want to leave. And you want to get established out where you are that's growing in an area that needs it. And it's like my community. So I was like, well, I'll see what's out there. So I found a couple places, I'm 2 rooms, little boxes, $1,400 a month. And I was like, this is just crappy. And I really never saw myself in a stuffy office building. I was like, I'm not feeling it. My people aren't going to be feeling it. They're not going to like it either. So I find this little thumbnail, tiny picture online. And I'm like, what the hell is that? So I click on it. It's a house. It's a cute little old house for rent for an office. And I'm like, and then I see it's $1,100. I'm like, does that say $1,100? This must be a mistake. This has got to be a mistake. And so I call him is this place still for rent? What is going on? I need to see it today. I stalked the man. Because it was my birthday, as a matter of fact.
Really?
It was my birthday, yeah.
Aww.
Which is kind of ironic because the house we live in now, I found on my birthday too, 2 years ago. And then I found this. Wow. So I walk in, it's out in the country. It's on over an acre. It is a 3-bedroom, 3-bathroom house. Beautiful deck off the back, beautiful live oak trees, really, and just good energy, feels good. You know how as therapists, I'm I have to feel it.
Yeah.
Just felt really good. And Amber knows this, but one of my visions, so my daughter does horseback riding and we have a horse. It was kind of a parenting fail, but I'll save that. But it's kind of a disaster. But anyway, he's a great horse. He's huge, giant horse, but calm, mellow, just like a gentle giant. So I was like, it'll be so cool to have Solomon be my therapy, buddy, my emotional support therapy thing. So I don't want to do the whole certification thing. I just can't do that right now. So anyway, so I say to the realtor, I'm like, hey, this is fenced. It's on over an acre. Could I maybe have a horse here for some therapy? And he's like, well, the lady who owns the house, she lives right next door, literally stone's throw. I can see her house is right next to this one. She goes, she's an equine vet. And I'm like, she's a what? An equine vet? Are you kidding me? What are the freaking chances? And you can't even see it because it's so country, but she has stables. She got a donkey named Powder Puff. She's got 3 horses back there. I was like, hello. It was the gods, God was hitting me with a 2x4, this is your space. You have got to do this. So I literally made this decision in less than a week, sort of, because I had been really thinking about it for a while.
Right.
But
this was your plan.
This was my plan. And I thought, having a vote of confidence and a little pep talk from my friend who was like, Jamie, you have enough clients. I'm more than covering the rent already. So that's stupid, So I'm like, okay, yeah. And then I find this and I'm like, yeah, that is perfect. So I signed a 2-year lease and now I have me a little office and it's so cute. And good thing that we hoard furniture in my house because I had a bunch of furniture to take over there. And then thank God for Wayfair. By the way, Wayfair Professional. They have you can have your own account manager and they can help you. And I bought everything on sale. So I didn't really get another discount, but my account dude was like, hey, let me see if I can get you a little better deal. And he got me another $93 off of my order had I not called him.
And you're going to write all that shit off too.
I am.
Rent.
Yes, I am. For sure. So, and it really, I mean, and honestly, I've been really happy with the quality of stuff I've received so far. And I mean, like very I have spent, I spent a little over $2,800. That is including tax. And that is for like 3 offices and like a reception area. And like I said, I had some stuff already, but I mean, I really feel like that's not that bad, right?
No, it's not.
Yeah. So now my costs are a little higher. Now we're looking at, let's just say with utilities, $1,300 a month for my rent. So $250 a month if I wanted to average out how much I paid for my insurance. But you have to get business insurance when you have a physical space, That was only $480 a year, which I thought was cheap. That's $40 a month. So that is like, let's just say, $1,800 a month, rounding up. Although I need to add my eye therapy in there. So $2,000, let's just say $2,000. That's going to be probably my expenses for the month. But even if my average is like $100 a session and I have 12 or 13 clients, like that's okay. Because some of my people are, because I'm getting paid more for some of them. I'm getting paid less for some of them. And I have to open up my schedule in order to grow, which means I have to leave my full-time job.
Yes.
And so I'm mentally working on doing that. I want to pay for this furniture first, and just kind of like see how some things go.
Yeah, we might need to do a little coaching session around that because I want you out.
And I do too. And I mean, honestly, I was telling Amber, like where I work, there had been some cutbacks earlier this year and stuff. And one of the reasons, I have wonderful coworkers and stuff. And so one of the reasons is I was kind of concerned that they might like cut back some more. And so I was like actually trying to absorb that and like let them fire me basically so that somebody else didn't lose their job. I did look at some things, like I inquired about cutting back my hours to adjusted full-time, 32 hours, which they agreed to do, except I have to maintain the same workload. So they weren't going to adjust that. So I was kind of like, that's not cool.
That's not cool.
Yeah. So that kind of was like, okay, you can, and then I would accrue less time off because of my percentage of hours. So I didn't think that that was a good idea. And then when I asked about leaving, and I think this might be what really has held me up, is that they said that they wouldn't backfill my position. So that means that my coworkers that I adore would have to absorb my workload. And I am very uncomfortable with that. I don't know. Maybe I know I need to move past that, but I just think that's crappy.
It is. Well, it is crappy. Yeah. It is crappy. And you carrying it doesn't fix the underlying issue, right? Because, and this is something I had to learn as well. When I left my agency, I was going to leave a huge hole where a lot of work had been getting done. And I knew that system was not going to change for the better anytime soon. So that we hired and hired and hired and hired, and then we had turnover. So after years of that, I had to finally get real with myself of like, okay, there's not going to be a good time for me to leave. This is going to hurt my agency when I leave.
It's like getting married or having children. It's never a good time. But too, I think my vision was when I started, I know it takes a year. I mean, it really does. I feel like it takes a year to get into your groove.
Agreed.
And so I figured by the end of this year that I would no longer be there. And so part of me feels like, right before Thanksgiving would probably be good because then kids are out of school and breaks and stuff like that. I feel like that might be a good time for me to exit. And it gives me a couple more months of, saving a little bit more money. And it's really mental for me because I'm very fortunate that my husband is retired, and he has a job too. So he has his retirement money and he has income. And so we're still going to have food on the table, even if I leave my job, right. So I just have to remember that it's more of like just me, a personal stuck point, but I'm working on it. And I know that by the end of the year, I'll be gone.
And it sounds like we're just going to slide into coaching a tiny bit and then we're going to jump right back out. It sounds like 2 stuck points. One being with not wanting to burden the people that you care about at your job. But the other one is this idea that I need to gather some money to pay off, because first it was, I don't want to start a face-to-face practice until I have the money. And then I don't want to leave my current full-time job until I have the money to pay off this debt. And the reality is that you have brought in a lot of clients to your therapy practice, and you've brought them, some of them in at full fee. So there's no reason to think that you won't make more than your average, your average hourly salary just by picking up clients.
Yep. Absolutely. And it's kind of funny because I realized that like when I really went down and crunched the numbers, and I was like, I could work like way less and make the same amount of money that I make now, which I feel like is probably a good goal for me to have once I leave, is like, just make what you were making before. That's what my goal is. And by the way, speaking of numbers, so I wrote down that most of my clients that I've had honestly have been cash. So like I said, first data session was February 26th. So from February 26th till now, it has been $10,182.
Wow. Get it.
So
this is all on the side.
Yeah. But after I went back and looked, I was like, oh, that's not bad, right? I mean.
No, that's not bad.
Is that okay? I mean, I don't even know what I'm like. I don't even know. I feel like it's okay.
So here's some of my numbers. My first year that I was doing online therapy, I did it part-time like you are, outside of my full-time job. Mm-hmm. But I never took more than 5 hours a week of clients because I just don't have the resiliency that you do. But in that year, I made $22,000 on the side. Like it was just bonus income. And I wasn't sticking to my rates at the time. So I was sliding my scale all over the place. Mm-hmm. And still just doing up to 5 hours a week was able to make $22,000. And you've been able to make $10,000 since friggin' end of February. So say beginning of March.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
When you first started publishing on your Facebook page and your Facebook business page, I can't remember where you published it, but you were putting stuff about your website showed up there, and your website was amazing, and it's all military focused, and your messaging and your copy was so clear and so clearly spoke to your ideal client that I was sharing it everywhere because I'm like, oh, I know that my people, my friends and family will relate to what she's saying, and they're going to follow. So I guess, how did you get so good at what you were putting out there on social media? And then the question I'll ask you later is, how did clients come to see you? How have you gotten those 12 to 15 clients?
So the copy on my website, I really can't take credit for because Nick Fuller and the fabulous people at Shire Digital Solutions did my website, and they have really great questionnaires. And like Nick just gets me. I'm like, Nick, I'm such a mess. Like, but I'm very honest. Like how I am as a therapist is how I am if you saw me at the grocery store. Mm-hmm. I don't believe in being different with my clients than anybody else because I think genuineness is very key in mental health. And so I don't know how to be any different and honest.
I love it. Be yourself out loud. That's all it really takes. So let's transition into talking about how you got those clients.
So I have a Psychology Today profile. I would say that's where some people have found me, maybe four or five. And then I have two local contacts. One is a guy who runs a nonprofit for veterans. So very key. Mm-hmm. And the other one at my full-time job is my boss's boss. And he lives where I live because we all get to work at home at our jobs. Well, he lives in the same city as me, and he's prior military, so we have like a connection. And he knows a lot of people who come to him for advice and help, but he really can't help them because he's friends with them. Right. He sends me people all the time. So I feel like having those two key people that are connected to my niche population has been really powerful. And then the other thing is, even in the beginning, I'm like, I had one couple, that's what I started with. You know what? Provide good care. Take good care of the one person that you have because they will tell other people about you. Number one, it's the right thing to do. But number two, word of mouth is way more powerful. And so I think just being like a human being, genuinely just caring about other people and wanting and being their advocate and their cheerleader and their support system, like I think that's important. And I think people can see that when you are genuine and you do that versus you feel forced and you're doing that.
100%.
And I always tell people, if you don't like your therapist and you feel like they're looking at you like you have two heads, say bye-bye because they're not the right person for you. You should not feel that way. You need to be connected to your therapist. And I'm very honest, and I say, look, I will, if I feel like maybe you remind me of somebody from my past that I don't get along with or something, like my goal is for you to get the care you need. And if it's not with me, I'm going to make sure I find out who it's with. I'll get you with somebody else. And don't feel like you're going to hurt my feelings, because I know the research says this is the most important thing.
Everybody hit pause, hit rewind, listen to that last 6 minutes or so one more time and take some notes, because everything you said there is the crucial piece of building your practice. Kick ass at what you do and do it authentically and with compassion. Do it out loud on your website. Do it in your sessions. Do it when you're talking to potential referral folks who are, connected to your ideal client, or even those who aren't. And your practice is gonna fill.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like just be good. Just be a good human. Like, just be kind. Just genuinely care about people. Like, I don't know. Don't be an ass. Like, I don't expect your clients to conform to you and conform to what their needs are. I think that's really important. And for me too, like I haven't had time to spend like networking, honestly, and marketing like out in the community like I would like to. But I'm like, golly, and I didn't even, so here's the funny thing about that house office deal. Like I didn't even realize they just built a new middle school half a mile from there, and they're building a high school like right there. And I'm like, I didn't even know that. I mean, I was like, oh, wow, So, I mean, like, I feel like there's lots of places and potential. Even my daughter's daycare. My little one goes to daycare. I talk to them about stuff, and they have my cards there now because they had some issues with some kiddos. They didn't know what to do. They need a resource. And so, hello, I'm your resource. Like I made that connection like last week and took my cards. I mean, that was a quick networking thing, but I have put no effort into networking.
I have the most bizarre analogy coming to mind, but I'm going to bring it. I'm going to trust it's going to make some sense. When I was in a long-term relationship, nobody ever hit on me. I think I just put out a vibe of like, don't talk to me. Like, don't talk to me. When we broke up and I was single, about 2 months after being single, all of a sudden, people started hitting on me, and they were just extra friendly, or they were straight up asking me out, or like giving me extra produce at Publix. It was weird. But I think what happened, I swear I'm going to bring this back home, y'all. I think what happened is I was walking out into the world with an open stance. I was saying hello to people. I was smiling at people. I wasn't closed off. And if you just choose 2 days out of the week when you're going out into the public world, that you're going to go out intentionally open, you're going to smile, you're going to engage with the cashier at Publix or wherever your grocery store is. You're going to, walk through Home Depot and like make conversation with the person next to you. You're going to sit at the bar to eat rather than a table, and you're going to chat up people around you. If you just open up a little bit, I think that everything else falls in place. And just 2 days a week, y'all, because I'm an introvert. I can't be doing that all the time. But a couple days a week, just really open up your heart and show that on your face. And I think the rest follows.
I think so too. I really do. And I feel like, I mean, of course I believe like, I'm like a spiritual person too. So I feel like, God, because here's the thing, I did not want to do private practice because I've been there before and I know how much work it is. Okay. So I have been like for years, like, nope. But I kept feeling like God kept putting it on my heart. I'm like, would you stop putting that on my heart? I just don't want it there. Or just get away from it. Because I knew what I needed to do, and I didn't want to do the work. I just really didn't. But then it was like funny, like somehow it shifted from like being put on my heart to starting to morph into a passion. And so I was like, this is really weird. And like, even now I'm like, I'd rather just be doing stuff for my practice. Like I'm really losing like a lot of my gumption for my full-time job. I'm losing a lot of, so I'm just like fizzling that out. But I feel like my passion for, my practice has just really continued to grow. And it's just crazy to me, like how I find an office that's exactly what I think my ideal client would be comfortable with. And I can have a horse there, and the lady next door is a vet for horses. What?
Right. What?
So I'm like, okay, God, thank you for hitting me with a 2x4. I got the memo. I'm signing the lease. Okay. And then I'm like, holy shit, what did I just do? But oh well, I'm doing it. Like, I'm just going to do it. Like, there's not an option to fail. Like, it's just it's not an option, and it's not going to happen.
The failure is the not doing it. The failure is not trying. The failure is the regret of living a life where you didn't take chances that were lined up perfectly for you.
Absolutely. I totally agree. So I forgot to say, one of the other costs I spent on was I ordered business cards. Finally, I just ordered business cards, and I needed a sign for my office because it's on like a state highway and it's like by houses, and there's like really it's hard to eat. Like you just drive right past it.
Right.
So I ordered a sign. I hope it doesn't look tacky and stupid, but I got like a vinyl sign that I can put on the fence because it's gated. It even has like a gate. It's like so I got, that was $103 on Vistaprint. And I know this sounds really cheesy. I don't know what y'all think about this, but I was like, I just did it because it's temporary, but I ordered those car magnets. Is that cheesy? I feel like a cheesy ass realtor. So I ordered 2 of those. They're $24 a piece, $48 for some car magnets and some bit more business cards. Cause now I have business cards. I need an address because now I have an address. Right. So I spent like $200 on that stuff from Vistaprint, and I feel like that's good. I ordered like 200 cards. I didn't order a lot. I ordered just enough, and some little like postcard thingies. Like
I love those. Those are so cute.
Those little things. So I'm just like, I'm not going to spend a ton on it, but I need to do a little something and just get started.
Yeah.
And just see what happens.
You're going to have to take pictures of that house and put them up in the group so we can look at it.
I am going to. It's super cute and it's coming along. It's a lot of manual labor, which is kind of the problem because now I'm supposed to see clients on the weekend. And like last weekend, I was like, one of the offices you guys had paneling in it. Paneling. Okay. I was like, hell to the no. This is going. So I decided I think I'm crafty, but I swear to you all, I got a DNR at one time. Annie Sloan chalk paint. You can make anything gorgeous with Annie Sloan chalk paint. You do not need to, you don't have to sand. You don't have to prime. You don't have to do anything. I didn't even wipe the walls down. I slapped some Annie Sloan chalk paint on that crappy stuff. And then I put a coat of wax over top of it. I'm telling you, it looks like a whole new room. It's the playroom. And so I'm like, I will show you guys some pictures, like once I do it all, or do a video walkthrough or something like that. I think it's going to be cute.
We're going to need before and afters. So
yes, I have some befores. Yes. Because the marketing from like when it was for rent. So I have some of the befores. Some of it was hideous. But yeah, it's super cute. I think it's going to be super cute. We'll see.
Amy, I'm so excited for you. You're kicking ass.
Thank you. I'm so excited.
Like these interviews, if I never publish them anywhere, have been so helpful just to get to know each of you even more and like see what you're doing. And it's almost like a positive feedback loop. Like it just you're wanting to move forward.
Absolutely. I think it's very cool. I think it was a great idea to see where people are, because it's like where I was when I started, where I am now was like, I was like, oh, wait till I tell Amber I got an office. And, I mean, like things are just like, I thought I would do that, but I really thought the office thing would be like way down the road, like way, way down the road. Yeah. But then I was just like, you know what, forget it. Like
I'm doing it. Jump
in with both feet. And if you jump in with both feet, you're going to do it. You're going to do what needs to get done. You know what I mean? Like you're going to hustle. If you got to hustle to pay bills and put food on the table, you're going to hustle. You're going to do that. You're going to make that happen. Yeah. At least you have to fake it till you make it. Just pretend that shit if you need to. But like, you got to go after it, because you know what? No one's going to knock it. This is what I realized. So at the company that I'm at now, it's a very good company. But about a year ago, I thought I would be someplace I would be for a long time. And about a year ago, some stuff went down and I was like, there's no opportunity for growth here. And honestly, what I thought was, if I can't find my ideal dream position, I'm going to create it myself. Mm-hmm. And I realized that I didn't need somebody else to hire me, to value me. I needed to value me, and I needed to hire me.
That's right.
And say, you can do this, you can make a difference, and try to have the confidence, even if it was a fake it till you make it thing for a little while. But I was like, you know what? This is a good thing, because now I'm kind of forced an opportunity to say, I know my value, and I'm not going to stay stuck in a system that is not going to appreciate my value.
Yep.
So, not happening. So I just decided to create my own ideal job. And that's what I have done.
Oh, I wish I could high five and hug you. I love it. That is like my dream for what will come out of these interviews and from the course and just from getting to know you guys more and more. If there's any little parting piece of wisdom, I don't know what else you could offer because you were just raining down the wisdom balls, but.
Oh my goodness. Thank you. Golly, what could I say? What do you feel like you see most people struggle with? I guess, like where they're stuck?
Yeah, so a couple places. One is the just freaking startness. People are like, this is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm going to do. In 5 years, I'm going to do it. Mm-hmm. But they just need to jump in, as you said, with both feet and go. there's never going to be a right time.
Right.
The other piece is once they get going, coasting before they should. So, okay, I've set everything up, but they're not going hard after marketing. And then 6 months later, you know, they're like, shit, I still don't have any clients. I guess this isn't going to work. And I feel like, no, come back and talk to us. It will work.
Right.
We just have to make sure you're doing the things that are going to make it work. And that part's painful to watch.
Yeah, it is hard. And I think too, like I said, if you can have, you know, if you specialize in eating disorders, then go to an eating disorders clinic that's in your area and introduce yourself and be like, hey, you know what I mean? Like, I think that there still is something for good old fashioned putting a face with a name, and connecting with just people and relationships. And so I really think that that's still very powerful to do. You know, and I know some people who are introverts, I think especially have a really hard time with that. But it doesn't have to be like, you know, you're not doing like a dinner theater show, you know what I mean? Like you're talking about something that you feel very passionate about. So hopefully, you know, just some little things like that. Or I saw a girl recently who was, I think she's not licensed yet, but in my area offering like a free little workshop at the library. Like it doesn't have to cost anything, I think. But I think for me, like I said, I paid for Psychology Today. And I just think having those two key people has been really helpful for me. I just think too, like I do better with goals. So if I get, because I'm like, I'm going to do it later, I have to have a timeline or I will not get stuff done. So I would say, even if you say, okay, how much time do I have to devote to building my practice now? You know, and if it's like 2 hours a week, then like, if it's like from, 3 to 5 every Sunday, then I would say make that sacred time and use those 2 hours and do what you need to do and research what you need to or whatever to work on it. But if you give yourself structure and you have a vision for where you want to be, you got to figure out how you're going to get there. And nobody's going to get you there for you. So you got to get up. You got to believe in yourself, because if you don't believe in yourself, nobody else is going to believe in you. So like I said, fake it till you make it. Just tell yourself that. And, you'll get to that end point, but you have to do the work. And that's the thing is, I think people want a quick fix. They want everything to be easy. Our society is very instant gratification. Being a therapist is about building connections and sort of putting down roots in a sense. But I think, we can also put down virtual roots. And again, having friends, having other, they have friends that need therapy. They're going to tell their friends about you. Like, so I think that that's what's really important. Don't stress about how many people you have or don't have. Just, pay good attention to the people in front of you. Because if you're not providing good care, then it's not going to matter. So don't let yourself get distracted. Because if what your passion is being a therapist, then that's really what you want to, focus your efforts and energy on. And the other stuff will follow as long as you give yourself some structure to make sure that you achieve it.
100% agree. 100%. There's so many pieces of very important wisdom in that. So slow-mo, you guys, rewind in slow-mo. Take very good care of the people that you already have, including collaborating on their care with their other providers and doing a kick-ass job doing that. And you're going to get referrals from your client, and you're going to get referrals from those providers. Be a very good human out loud. And introverts, I feel ya. Just 2 days a week, be a very good human out loud.
Exactly. That's, and I have that like silly magnet thing. Put that silly magnet thing on your car. It's $24. Just put it on your car 2 days a week.
Yep.
And
be nice. Be extra nice those 2 days.
Yeah, and make sure you look good on those days. Don't look like what's that? Like I live like a troll animal and I live under a bridge. Because some days I look like that. So I have to remember I can't be doing that.
On the magnet day.
Take the magnet off my car.
Can you imagine? You go out to do an errand at Walmart. You forget the magnets on the car. And you're like, oh shit.
And you're like, I'm going to be like yelling at my kids, get your ass in this car right now. I'm saving for therapy. Yes, I'm great.
I help families get their shit together. Oh my God. Women, this has been so helpful. I'm so glad that you were willing to do this.
Yes.
It's awesome.
Really excited because I loved your course. I think it was a great thing to catapult me into what I needed to be doing. And it gave me that motivation, that structure that I really needed. And I really feel like it was so invaluable. Like one of the best investments that I've made is, started that course is like, bam, hit the ground running. I mean, and honestly, I didn't even finish everything in it. I think I still have some lessons. And then I saw how you like added to it last time. I was like, shit, I got so much more to go in there and do. But I also think it's genius, and I love how it's like lifetime access. I think that is so fabulous and so easy to be like, this is totally worth it. And in telehealth, stuff is going to be changing because it's still evolving so much. So I could definitely see where that is going to be helpful to always be sort of like, you know, on the forefront of, and hopefully everything kind of catches up to realizing.
Well, don't you forget that you can join our coaching calls in November and January. So I would love to see you back in there.
Yes, absolutely. I would love to.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for thinking of me and reaching out, and hopefully something I said maybe will help at least one other person. And if it does, then that makes it worth it.
Oh my gosh, wasn't that fantastic? Thank you so much to Jaime for coming in and sharing all the tips and tricks and tools that you've picked up over time to build your online therapy practice and the momentum into building your in-person practice. So nice of you to take the time to share all of the tips and tricks and tools that you've learned along the way with the rest of our therapist community. So appreciate it. And I hope all of you have gotten a lot out of the interview. I know that there were tons and tons of pieces of wisdom in there. We're going to try to get this transcribed for you so that we can pull all of them out and you can revisit them when you have some time to look over what I'm going to call a lecture on building an online practice. Hey, and if you're listening to this podcast as it's being released, you still have time to jump into Step by Step, the next live round of the course that Jaime talked about in this podcast. So you can jump into the show notes and click the link there to learn more, or you can go into the online therapist group, click on the banner photo at the top of the page, and you'll get links to all the goodies.